Trump confronts Spain. XRP holders found this out. The purpose of this title is to shed some light on things you may or may not know, as I had no idea until I found this out. Like, subscribe, become a member, and get hours of educational content for the cost as little as 2 trades. Keeping in mind, your memberships, 50% of them go to save animals' lives. And we'll start actually with staking opportunities and ways to be earning passive income with absolutely zero investment and what the title actually means. So first and foremost, I'm bringing up Nexo. There is a reference link to this platform in the description below. And as you can see that how do I start earning interest? Maintain a balance of over $5,000. Some of you may not have that much in crypto, but if you do, Nexo is offering anywhere from I think 3 to 12% APY on your XRP, which is not bad. So if you're holding over $5,000 in XRP, use that reference link, sign up on Nexo. You could always transfer some over or all of it, depending on how much you wanted to put into Nexo. And they have flexible savings or fixed savings where it could be a 7-day withdrawal fee or withdrawal, no fee. Actually, there is a fee to withdraw out of Nexo, so keep that in mind too. But if you want to start earning passive rewards with no $5,000 investment, there's a reference link for Roller Coin. Many people are playing this game. At least 20 of you used that reference link and got 1,000 Satoshi Bitcoin for free. And definitely write in the comments below how much you're earning a day without investing a single dollar or how much you're earning with your investment. That is a great passive rewards. The other one would be Flare Network, and Flare Network actually has rewards in different cryptocurrencies, but higher APY, like a 96% APY in a certain coin. But Flare is the other opportunity for staking. Now let's talk about the title and what it actually means. So Trump confronting Spain, if you're unaware, the president here didn't want America to use their tiny little air base at the bottom, just below Sevilla, to do the bombings in Iraq, Iran, all that stuff. They've been arguing back and forth, blah, blah, blah. And the way I see it is Spain, if you have no idea, for example, you have a business, you're a cleaning business, you make 4,000 euros in a month, the government gets about 75% of that. If you're working in the Walmart, the Mercadona, you're probably making more and getting more time off than a doctor. So keeping that in mind, doctor pay is maybe 2,000 after taxes, maybe 1,400, $1,400 for a doctor. Um, so you got to find a different way to make money, right? Dark money is what they call it, which is cash under the table. That's the only way people are surviving in this country, from my understanding. Not that I'm doing that, but we are talking about XRP and the detrimental things that can be happening with a country like Spain. So Spain's having arguments with the US, and US is saying you got to do it this way, blah, blah, blah. Europe can be separate from what Spain is dealing with within the US. US can do tariffs on Spain specifically, vice versa, and so on. But XRP is putting every transaction on the ledger, which is huge because in Spain there are over 400,000 government officials. For example, Washington State, 10 government officials. So imagine the entire country of the US is probably way under the amount of government officials in Spain and the highest paying jobs. If you clean the streets, you have to do a thing to pass the government test, and you make more than a doctor here. All the money gets funneled to the government and gets dispensed to the people who are working within it. XRP is keeping track of the ledger of how much money is being spent, where it is going, every transaction being made. And for Spanish people, that is detrimental because everybody who does dark money, if it goes where you can only pay with cryptocurrency in the far future, that there's going to be no way to survive for those people. So the people who are into cryptocurrency and see its potential, doing cross-border payments, as I talked about in one of my previous videos, transacting euros to US dollars back to euros. There's like multiple fees throughout the banks. XRP is trying to be the world bank. So if I have US dollars, it's going to cost me a fraction of what it costs doing it through the banks. Huge benefits to the people who are working international, to the people who need to transact money from US dollar to euros, which is essentially the entire world unless you're never leaving the country. It is a huge deal. So if you haven't been stacking your XRP, we are here at $1.31. If we do the pullback, which it broke this purple upward trend line, which is showing more bearish formation, just like we see with Bitcoin underneath its upward wedge. Yes, Bitcoin could easily pull right back up into that wedge and do a reversal. That is a possibility. But for now, since we are underneath that black upward trend line, we're going to consider this the potential to drop way further. April 29th is a very important date and it's coming in hot. So I don't know what to tell you guys, but it is coming in quick, and we need to be prepared for what is about to come, whether it be the downside or the upside. This middle black trend line right here, we're going to make it dotted. That's just a visual. We see that there's support and resistance more or less throughout this area, and we touched down on this bottom black trend line, pulled immediately up over that midpoint. Now we are testing that midpoint like we would test a downward trend line. It's testing it, testing it. If it's got enough strength, we can start working over the CM guppy, hopefully before this date, April 29th. And when April 29th happens, if the Clarity Act is passed, this can easily push out of this channel way up to 618, around $2.58, before some consolidation, potential pullback, and then the continuation. But the opportunity to get in at $1.31, even if it pulls back down to $1 or even lower down to 80 cents, you guys are stacking a phenomenal bag and getting the opportunity to earn ridiculous money here in the near future. $1.31 per coin going up to $5 minimum. Obvious pullback somewhere in there, potentially testing around 350. You're already three timing your money, 300%. If I did that right, I hope I did that right. More or less, 200, 300, whatever you want to call it. That money that you have, that $1.31, turning into $3 is awesome. Turning into $5 back to $3, great. You're still up that 200%. But you can stake that through Nexo or Flare, as far as we know, and earn more percentage yield on that money that is already 2 to 3 times the original amount. It's an amazing opportunity. If you haven't seen it happen in Bitcoin, Bitcoin went from roughly the same price XRP is now to $100. XRP went from roughly 50 cents to 350. Let me show you the Bitcoin chart. If you missed one of my previous videos, we're going to go back in time when Bitcoin was the cheapest and best opportunities to get in. For example, let's say here. There definitely was a long consolidation period. Zooming in, bear with me. XRP is $1.31. Bitcoin was $1.31 at one point. No, $1.31 more or less. We'll just say $1.57. It pushed up to $32 from $1.37. Do you think XRP can do that, becoming a world bank? That is a high possibility, and that was in the course of 2 months. 2 months from $1.57 to $32. XRP has all the potential in the world to go from $1.31, easy $5, potentially $10 to $15, or even $25 is not out of sight in the upcoming years, all the way up to 100 and beyond. And think of your $1.31 as $100 minimum by 2030. How much money would you want to be putting in at $1.31? I'd be putting everything I got in at $1.31. Even if it drops down, it's dollar cost averaging. This thing will be a huge, huge pump, as it has been suppressed when it was supposed to take off in October. Here's the wick for October when they are testing this in Singapore with the Bloom network. Major liquidity sweep, testing, probably transferring a bunch of money around, seeing if it can handle the loads of movements. XRP is a phenomenal, phenomenal coin, and it also burns itself. So if you have so much supply and it starts just lighting itself on fire, the demand will increase. So with the $1.31 going to $5, $10, $15, $25 as the possibility, it's only going to get more expensive because with every transaction, XRP is burned and there's a finite supply. Keeping all that in mind, I hope you guys like, subscribe, write in the comments below, become members if you want, and get the insight on those other coins that you may not even look at unless you are a member. So good luck, have fun with it. I will see you guys on the next one.